Okay, can we see it?
Bene. So, let's start. Spinadello Aqueduct Lifting Station is a small industrial building from the 1930s. We are in the Po Valley in Forlimpopoli. Forlimpopoli is a town of 13,000 inhabitants built along the Via Emilia, halfway between Forlì and Cesena. Here, the Ronco-Bidente Valley flows into the plain. The Selbagnone countryside is intensely cultivated, especially with wine, cereals, and vegetables. The Ausa Canal runs along the boundary of the land belonging to the lifting plant, and a little further, it plunges into the Ronco River. The small building was a big news for those places, because a building like this had never been seen in the quiet and sunny countryside of Selbagnone, among scattered houses of peasants and a few vineyards. It was 1933 when trucks and workers arrived, drills and cranes with new noises and dusty traffic. When they left, there was a new building with a flat roof without the traditional sloping pitches, with a central turret where overhead high voltage electrical power cables arrive. It vaguely resembled certain villas seen in the city, but it was a machine building that whistled day and night because of the pumps running. A building with large rectangular windows without blinds, lit even at night. And then the three-dimensional writing on the side of the turret in futurist characters that stand out against the sky like sculptures, and that avenue with a double row of pines never seen before in Selbagnone. The landscape had changed. The world was changing. The students who were taken here on a school trip, accustomed to the everyday life of flat cultivated fields and traditional farmhouses, were impressed by the majesty of the avenue and the modernity of this extraordinary building, which broke the silence of nature with the mechanical howl of its electric pumps. And so it was for decades, going through the Second World War, the Reconstruction, the economic boom, the crisis, until 1986, the year when the Romagna Aqueduct came into operation. Then abandonment and oblivion, is slowly the nature that takes back its spaces.
Ok, facciamo partire questo.
The long fence that borders the well field cannot stop the wind that carries the seeds of flowers and plants. The small underground rooms where the water was taken are populated with newts, and the grass that is no longer cut grows very high, becoming the ideal bed for roe deer, pheasants, and other wild animals. Even the banks of nearby river Ronco are gradually abandoned by the production activities, which have now become obsolete, which had redesigned the landscape during the years of the economic boom. Quarries, gravel crushers, settling tanks of the sugar raffinery, illegally cultivated banks become wetlands and alluvional woods, so rich in biodiversity that they have been elected by Europe as a site of community importance. So man returns to Spinadello, but with a different attention to the landscape. The municipality restored the building and placed it in the atrium route, recovering the original architecture and machinery. Then, between Forlì Popoli and Forlì, very near to the Via Emilia, where the road ends and nature begins, in 2016, Spinadello Participated Visitor Center of the Ronco River Meanders was born. Okay, let's return to the building. The building, it's from 1932, the executive project, and is part of those public works carried out by the fascist regime, which had a dual function. On the one hand, to provide a nation that needed to modernize with the necessary infrastructure. On the other hand, to make propaganda and create popular consent to a dictatorial and totalitarian regime. In this sense, the ATRIUM cultural route defines this architecture as dissonant. It was a simpler building than the original project. We have found a working copy of the project that tells this very difficult relationship between architecture and regime. It was a simple building. The designers have considered an industrial building where function is predominant over form. In this sense, they are attentive to the new demands of rationalist architecture that is spreading in Europe. But there are also eclectic style elements like artificial stone cornices. This project did not suit the fascist regime. It was not emphatic enough and did not respond to the political need for propaganda and the creation of consensus. Therefore, some significant changes are introduced in the course of work that we have found added in pencil on the copy of the project found in the archives. First, the central turret is added, which creates emphasis on the facade, emphasizing the entrance in the building. The tower has always been a symbol of power, and the fascist regime will adopt the Victorian tower as an iconic sign in its buildings. But in 1932, the regime has not yet fully found its architecture. In fact, this tower is very similar to those of the eclectic villas and is still far from the Victorian towers. Then the Viale Romano, Roman Parkway, with a double row of pines that accompanies the visitors like a corridor bordered by tail columns and direct the view to the turret in the facade. The pines are typical of the city of Rome and underline the presence of the regime's power, even territorially far from the capital. Finally, the three-dimensional inscription Aquedotto Spinadello that stand out against the sky in futurist characters, which replaces the simple didactic sign above the access door This choice has a great visual impact and is perhaps the most successful element of the whole project. We are facing a small building that is certainly not an architectural masterpiece, but is an interesting and very significant building of the historical and cultural period that produced it. For this reason, the building was included in the ATRIUM European Cultural Route. The last works of the consortium aqueducts are tested in 1939. Since then, it has remained active until 1986, when Romagna Acque came into operation with the Ridracoli Dam, then oblivion. The building, abandoned and forgotten, has undergone a progressive deterioration. But the abandonment has preserved both the architecture and the machinery that have not undergone any changes. The entire fenced area that includes the field with the water withdrawal wells has slowly been renaturalized. The surrounding landscape has also seen the gradual abandonment of industrial activities with a high impact on the environment that had populated the banks for the river during the years of the economic boom. Man leaves and nature returns. The result is an alluvial forest along the river, and the small lakes created by the excavation of gravel or settling tanks become places of nesting and passage for various species of migratory birds, and an ideal habitat for amphibians and aquatic species. The meanders of the Ronco River are enriched with biodiversity and become a place of study for botanists and naturalists. In 2014, the municipality carried out a restoration of the Spinadello building. In 2015, a scientific technical roundtable was set up to develop a reuse and chance strategy. The reuse strategies must be linked to the naturalistic area surrounding the Spinadello. In the meantime, some associations are starting to take interest into the area, and the municipality takes the opportunity to experiment possible forms of use with them. With the inclusion of the Spinadello in the ATRIUM route, the building has acquired new visibility and begins to be a catalyst of interest. In 2016, the Spazi Indecisi Association organized the Totally Lost event. Spazi Indecisi is an association that deals with the mapping and reuse of abandoned buildings. Two very popular weekends, an exhibition, 2 walks, and concerts related to nature and its sounds. The people who reached Spinadello found themselves immersed in nature. The symbiosis between the building and the surrounding nature was automatic. We understood that an ATRIUM building could become the collector of interest and the driving force of an entire area around it. In 2017, the Emilia-Romagna region call for Youth for the Territory was published. Spazi Indecisi decided to participate together with the I Meandri Association and the Casa del Cuculo Cooperative, proposing together a season of events and initiatives at the Spinadello and in the meanders of the Ronco River. The association brings together different purposes and skills: art, architecture, and the use of abandoned spaces for Spazi Indecisi, nature, biodiversity, tracking for I Meandri, processes of participation, aggregation, communication for Casa del Cuculo. Unity is strength. The 3 associations win the call, and the Spinadello Participated Visitor Center is born. There has been a significant breakthrough in the promotion of the place. The following year, the municipality of Forlimpopoli published the call for the management of Spinadello. The three associations win the call, and so the project continues and becomes a multi-year, allowing the involvement of more and more people and the realities of the territory. The more people arrive, the clearer it becomes that the municipal borders lose their meaning. The river crosses many borders. Nature follows it. The initiatives increasingly cross over into other territories. Spinadello is the starting point of all this. Some example of the program actions. Flora, botanists and naturalist photographers will, with the young people of the area, collected botanical data and macro photos. Odonati, experts have guided enthusiasts and photographers in search of dragonflies, including a particularly rare one. Bird watching workshop. Cleaning of the banks of the river in collaboration with the scouts. Workshop of the use of camera traps. Creation of signs for the main trails in the area. Creation of a paper map and in GPX format of the meanders of the Ronco River with the story of the most significant places. Construction of a visual and communicative identity of the Spinadello Aqueduct with the creation of a logo and a coordinated image of a website and Facebook page that continues to exist today. Exhibition and many other activities. The model of direct involvement of the various stakeholders in the organization of the events was very effective, both for the quality of the expert and for the participation of the people. The various realities involved then acted as a surrounding board for everything that happened, sharing programs and events on their communication channels, thus increasing the number of people reached by communication. Consequently, the Spinadello, from a forgotten place, has become one of the best known places in Romagna. The neighboring municipalities are starting to take an interest in the Spinadello phenomenon. The bottom-up model also demonstrates its validity in getting policymakers moving. So in 2019, driven by the association that managed Spinadello, the Ronco Bidente participated project kickoffs, which directly involves the municipal administration of Forlimpopoli, Forlì, Bertinoro, and Meldola. The purpose was to stimulate the municipality to adopt an integrated strategic vision of the Ronco Bidente River area, far beyond the borders of the municipality of Forlimpopoli and beyond the naturalistic area close to the Spinadello. About 200 people made an active contribution to the participated process. About 60 participated in several meetings. About 20 worked on the elaboration of the proposal, representing everyone. The environmental concilios of the 4 municipalities attended all the meetings. 700 people followed the route via the Facebook page. The process ends in 2020 with the presentation of the final document to the administration. This document contains 6 project proposals to be developed together between the municipalities and together with citizens. First, the construction of the first section of the hiking network of the Ronco Bidente Valley. 2, accessibility and recognition of the area. 3, network promotion and communication. 4, promoting the quality of the environment and landscape. 5, river arrangement and redevelopment with flood lamination works. 6. Integrated governance of the area. The final document was approved by the Council of all 4 municipalities. At the conclusion of Roncovidente participated project, also in line with point 6 of the final document, the 4 municipalities begin to think about how to implement the programmatic points together, and above all, how about not to waste the energy and the wealth of the realities involved. The aim is to find a form of shared governance of the territory beyond the municipal borders, which include a table with the presence of the municipalities and the realities that live and interact daily with the territory. A light governance, not the constitution of another institution or a bureaucratic agreement. In 2021, the 4 municipalities begin the process to setting up a local landscape quality observatory. The local observatory is connected to the regional observatory in application of the European Landscape Convention. This landscape is understood as an asset closely linked to interaction with man, his work, culture, identity. One shapes the other in a continuous process. Spinadello Participated Visitor Center leads the process. The area of action is further expanded to the municipalities of the upper Roncovidente Valley. Now we are 7: Forlimpopoli, Forlì, Meldola and Bertinoro, Civitella, Galeata and Santa Sofia. The area of competence extends from the Via Emilia in the plains to the National Park of the Foreste Casentinesi on the Apennines. Thus, after an engaging journey that saw the expansion of the network of associations, companies, and citizens, at the end of 2021, the Roncovidente Local Observatory for the Quality of the Landscape was born, and the headquarters is in the Spinadello Aqueduct building. The observatory moves along 4 lines of action: diffusion, sharing, monitoring, enhancement. The definition I like best of the local observatory for the landscape quality is communities aware that take care of their territory. The observatory is made up of an assembly, a board, and a president. Both in the assembly and in the board, there are mixed subjects, both public and private, which represent the reality of the entire valley. The first action program has already seen some action materialized, but we are just at the beginning. We are now working together, and we started 10 years ago from a small abandoned building in the countryside of Forlimpopoli, the pump building of the Spinadello Aqueduct. Thank you.
Grazie.